I just saw Clownfish TV upload this short, and I just had to stop and laugh at it because Clownfish TV are like they're doing the Nintendeen grift after the grift has already fallen through. Okay, so like you know what happened when Nintendeen saw the sales numbers and what happened with that, where people started clowning on him and he realized that he had to radically retool his content, and he just immediately stopped with the Nintendo hate and started shifting gears. Like Clownfish TV hasn't got the memo. Okay, they're doing Nintendeen content after the grift has already fallen apart, so they're releasing statements saying that like the Nintendo Switch 2 is underperforming because of retail sales. Like they're doing what Nintendeen was doing a couple of weeks before the Nintendo Switch sales numbers were announced. So essentially what they're doing is making themselves look retarded. So Neon comes out and he's like, oh yeah, somebody found some Switch 2 Mario Kart World bundles at Best Buy that are going for $400. Oh, that's almost $100 off, bro. I'm just kind of like, oh man, Nintendo's gonna lose money on this. Oh, the Switch 2 is underperforming. Oh, and it's like, that is a retail sale at a Best Buy. Okay, I'm sorry, Sam's Club, I think it was. Yeah, that is like a retail sale at a retailer. Okay, it has nothing to do with Nintendo. It has nothing to do with like the actual sales numbers. And like this is how like desperate these people are to push a narrative, where they're seriously going to retailers and they're looking around, seeing Switch 2s are stocked, and then they're creating this fan fiction of like, oh yeah, nobody's buying these things. Oh, I don't care. This thing is 8 months old and not, you can get them anywhere. Like this means that nobody's buying these. I don't care about the sales numbers. Like they're seriously doing this thing where they're coming out and complaining about being able to find Switch 2s on short shelves. You know, it's like, it's the most pathetic, desperate move I think I've seen any YouTuber try and pull. But like the fact that they're still trying this after we've seen the actual sales numbers, like seeing how many of these things are out there and like seeing how well it's doing, it's like, it just reeks of desperation. Like they really are desperate to try and keep this narrative going for as long as possible. Like until they start getting clowned on regularly for this, like they're gonna keep doing it. And like the weird thing about this is that like I would say the Clownfish TV audience in general is really desperate to maintain the illusion, because you can look at the comment section and like 95% of it is people like trying to say that like Nintendo deserves this for censoring their games, or that like the console is overpriced, or like this or that. It's like downright insane. Oh, I love how, by the way, like the console's on sale, like, $100 off, and you still have these people trying to say it's overpriced. I'm just like, come on now. Like, come on now. Like, again, this is like the really transparent thing about this, honestly, is that these people have no problem paying like significantly more than that for like other pieces of technology, but somehow a $450 gaming console is like too much for them and is unreasonable. Like, it somehow has no games. It's like, I don't understand how much longer this grift is going to last, honestly. It's one of the worst grifts I've seen, honestly. And honestly, it's gotten so bad, I actually added Clownfish TV to my blacklist, very specifically because of, statements they made about, like, the stock price and because of the sales numbers. Like, they're trying to say, like, yeah, Nintendo released the sales numbers, and they tried to say it flopped, which is, like, obviously retarded if you actually look at the numbers. But, like, they really tried going in that direction, and it's, like, it's something that absolutely has to stop, okay? Like, Neon's done, okay? Like, Clownfish TV needs to go, okay? They are, like, the very stereotype of, like, everything wrong with the anti-woke community. All they do is bitch, and they don't really have, like, any real, they don't have any real presence in the community. They don't, like, know anything. They don't talk about anything. They're just very ignorant people who make these hyperbolic statements for clickbait, Like, they're no different than, like, Raging Golden Eagle or, like, or an Nintendeen. And honestly, in some ways, they're quite a bit worse, honestly. I don't understand, like, their attempts at trying to paint this narrative that, like, Nintendo is constantly failing, and it feels like radically different than like their coverage of other brands, because like they're doing things like analyzing like Princess Peach's face in like on like Showtime's box art and like trying to say that it has somehow made it woke. You know, it's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? It's unbelievably cringe. But you know, they have been added to the blacklist now, so you know, every time they do something like this, you know, I'll be adding to it and you know, releasing the blacklist periodically. You know, the updated blacklist periodically, because like there are dozens of people in this sphere that are like constantly making things up about the console. You know, Christopher Dring. You know, like he was the guy who came out and tried to say that like Switch 2 had a bad holiday cycle. You know, he was the one behind that narrative that people like Clownfish TV, you know, perpetuated and still believe. You know, he's been blacklisted. You know, you have you know, a couple of years back, he was Christopher Dring was also behind like the Mario Wonder being made by the C Team thing, you know, which was not true, and the game went on to sell 17 million units. So like there was we see these kind of stories all the time, but typically they just go under the radar and they get ignored. Not gonna happen, okay? Like Harmon Smith is here, and Harmon Smith is going to put a stop to everything. It is all of this grift and all these grifts and all these coping is just done, okay? You're just finished. Like, and it is going to be glorious to see their lies and their copes just completely fall apart. It's gonna be great. I'm very, very curious to see like at what point they're gonna have to kneel. Because typically what happens is that they deny that Nintendo is successful up until like they reach their absolute peak, and then they start talking about like their decline. You know, they did this with the stock prices too, right? You didn't hear a peep out of them when like the stock price reached its all-time high in August, but once it started going back to like pre-hype levels, you know, people started like they started saying that like, oh yeah, Nintendo's going downhill, man. They're failing, man. They're a failure of a company. It is a complete joke, and it really is something that we should talk about going forward. Okay, that like something that we do need to point out is just how little of these narratives really have any relevancy to like real world issues at all. You know, like how much of this like actually has to do with the actual company and what's actually going on, and like the actual intentions of like of Nintendo and like what's going on. Like it's just embarrassing, honestly. Like seeing this type of coverage, like it is downright embarrassing, and we do have to call these people out for what they've been doing. This is ridiculous. This is a very, very good example of just how desperate these individuals actually are.